Hello, everybody. Welcome to another round of DCUO office hours. My name is Meps. I am your community manager. We're doing a couple things different this week, or one thing really. In addition to being here in Discord, having this chat with you guys, we're also going to be streaming the chat to Twitch for people who are afraid of or confused by Discord. If you are watching in whatever or listening in whatever place, and you want to ask a question, join us in the Discord channel. There's an Ask DCO text chat channel as well as an Ask DCO voice chat channel. Hop in there and ask your questions, and we'll just go through the list and answer as many as we can in about an hour. If you don't know how to get to Discord, you don't know what it is, it's a voice chat program, and the link to our official DCUO Discord is beneath this screen on Twitch with a link, or you're already here, so you're fine. All right, so the purpose of this Q&A is for you guys to get to voice whatever questions or suggestions or concerns that you have, and you want to make sure the DCO team knows about and has heard. You'll know that you've delivered your message once you ask it here. So I'm going to open up the channel, the text chat channel, so that everybody can type. There's a little bit of a delay on it just to make sure the question is going to get too out of hand, but here we go. If you're watching on Twitch, you can watch the chat, or you can just sit back, relax, and listen. Many people are typing. All right, the LQ DCO starting us off with this question. Any cool base items for this year's Halloween seasonal? Yes, there are cool base items in this year's Halloween seasonal. There's even a base item that meows. It's going up on test today. In fact, I think the server is unlocked like maybe 1 minute ago. So go ahead and check that out, or check out the player videos that will surely soon be coming. Just a reminder for people who are on Twitch using the text chat over there, that's not where we're looking. We're looking in Discord. If you want to ask a question, you got to hop on our official Discord server. All right, let's move on. Happy asks, do you intend to server merge in the near future? EU server is pretty dead. Also, when will new survival mode come? Because survival mode is the only challenge in the game. Good questions. We are not considering any further server merges at the moment. Although, of course, we'll continue to monitor populations everywhere. And we don't have a date for survival mode at this time. We know you guys are waiting for it and loving it. We kind of put it on hold a bit as we got through the stats revamp, and we're looking to make some improvements and maybe some overall changes before we bring it back. So no date there yet, but stay tuned. We'll have some more information. Jareth, Master of Fear, which is a new title for you, I think, Jareth. He's going to ask, will the developer possibly be changing up the seasonal events for 2018? We're going to have all the seasonal events we've had in the past. We might have more. We might have additions. Too early to say, probably for 2018. But the Halloween and the winter event that are left in 2017 will probably just have new rewards, not new content. I'm also taking notes over here. That's why there's sometimes a break, so that I should look away when I talk. I'm taking notes over here so that I can have a record of this afterwards and get your suggestions up to the team. That's why there's sometimes a break. So I apologize for that, but it is what it is. All right, Annihilator says, will there be a way to use up my 6 remaining influence points? Your 6 remaining influence points. I am not sure what you're referring to. My brain may be breaking right now, but ask it again, because I am a little confused. Slylik8 says, can we get a slow mode for looking for group live server chat? It's an interesting question. I hate to stop the conversation there, but it does kind of scroll by pretty fast, doesn't it? Let me write that down. Zori asks, can Celestial get more range powers, 300 cost ones? I'm going to note that as a suggestion for you. Sounds like something you're looking for or wanting. Xander says style unlocking happening soon? Question mark. Still in the plans. No date for it yet. Probably not soon. The Ancient says, any news on adding power back to sparring targets? We are not planning on adding power back to sparring targets right now, so that people are encouraged to test and play in the real world and real content. If you want to experiment with sparring targets, bringing along controllers or whatever group makeup you want is an okay solution for us. Understand you like having the easy infinite power, but having infinite power kind of colors people's perceptions and feedback. Rakshas says, what are the chances that old elite gear will be added to a style vendor? It's become practically impossible to collect because it's hard to get a full group with progress points. I'm going to note this as a suggestion and a question. I would say the chances, though, of it going on the style vendor is pretty minimal. It's pretty essential to the whole point of having elites. That reward is crucial for that thing. That said, we definitely hear you when you talk about how kind of frustrating the progress points can be, especially when you can't find people who are all on the same page, all have it or all don't have it. So I think that's something we're going to look at in the future. And I'll note that. I'm going to check in on Twitch chat to see if people are going crazy. People are kind of going crazy, but it's cool. Twitch chat, come on over to Discord. It's fun. You'll love it. Moving on. Jacob Revamped says, will there be a collection aura for the Halloween event this year like the other seasonals have? That's a good question. I should have read the patch notes. I don't know. I'm not sure. Check it out on test tonight. Anthony Ayala asks, will there ever be a Trigon or Raven-inspired character? Well, we have Trigon and Raven in the game. If you mean inspired by and character create, maybe? Or if you're asking something else I'm not understanding, go ahead and ask it again. Tree Puncher 2014 says, do you plan to possibly do a graphics overhaul? It's a good question. We are always trying to push the boundaries of our visuals. I think you'll probably notice a lot of our recent styles and even environments have some really awesome textures and new things that we couldn't do even 6 months or a year ago. So in that way, yes. However, we're not planning to necessarily change all the things that already exist in the game or rip out the models or do different ones like that. That would essentially be a whole new game. But we're always looking to push it a bit. And you never know, we may do individual smaller like one-offs here and there, but not a whole game overhaul. Nightwing says, hi Meps. Hello. I really like doing cosplays of Iconics, but couldn't find a hairstyle that looks like Nightwing. Are there any plans to add new hairstyles and specific iconic hairstyles? We're always looking for ideas. We like adding hairstyles. It's fun. We've added some. I guess it's not really recently now, but we'll keep doing that. I have never gotten a Nightwing hairstyle request, so I'm going to note that, and we'll go from there. Shifty says, Meps, is the crit issue with Water Shark with High Tide going to be fixed anytime soon? That is, as far as I understand it, Sport is looking at it. He's investigating. And I believe it's related to the way that projectile works and the way things fall into place. So I don't know if it will be fixed anytime soon, but I can tell you we're working on it. Black Dawn says, can we get dog base pet items like Ace the Bat Hound or, just a Great Dane? That is a great suggestion, Black Dawn. We should totally have dogs in our bases and everywhere. So I'll note it down. I'm back. Blazing Bacon says, has there been any talk in the office about league hall trophies similar to the trophy room that the JLA or JSA normally has? It's a good suggestion, and that's been, generally speaking, talked about several times. I'll leave it at that. Nothing immediate to share, but trophies are cool. We like them. The Only Bad Man says, please can we get a larger size and perhaps some ads that can walk around layers and league halls? I'm going to guess you mean a larger size layer? And then you want ads like NPCs or like ads you fight? Let me know. Ask your question again. It's a cool idea regardless, so I'm noting it down. I think generally we would like to do more bases. We just got to figure out how and when. CJ asks, will water be the last power released as rumors suggest? It's the last power we've announced. I don't know if it will be the last power released or not. It's definitely not in our plans specifically to release a new power immediately, but nobody ever said, hey, water's our last one. So as rumors go, they're usually completely full of crap. Darky says, when is the PvP update coming? Don't know. I'm going to take that as a suggestion that we should do a PvP update. Just a heads up for people, these Q&As, these office hours are not the place where we announce new things. If we had a new power or a new surprise or new content or that kind of thing to announce, we would do it in its own live stream and article and letter and everything else we do. We would not save it for a random Friday Q&A once someone asks us the question. So you don't need to ask those questions. You won't get those answers. Half Troll All Amazing says, Catwoman cheetah fix. I don't know what you're referring to, so more details, please. Black Dawn says, influence is a very old PvP currency. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you'll never be able to spend it. That's from a question from like an hour ago. Raphael Prime says, any updates, further thoughts, discussions on possible cape style that will show off emblems? Nothing since the last time we talked, but it's a cool idea. We like it. I noted it last week or the week before. So yeah, totally on our minds. Rakshas says, the broker could use a pretty decent overhaul. Hiding items that you've already collected does work, but does work for collections, but doesn't work for plans and styles. Furthermore, it'd be helpful if you could search by style like Snake and Necromancer, most curious about obscure names that nobody knows about. I see, search by the style name as opposed to search for the gear name. Those are great suggestions. Let me write those down. You're getting a lot of emoji love, so that's cool. The LQ DCO says, will we get more cool... Whoa, it's scrolling. Will we get more cool effects, base items like the splash pack in the marketplace in the future? Of course, the base items will have to look pretty amazing. I've bought 7 splash packs to decorate my base with. That's awesome. Thank you for buying those splash packs. Hopefully you got all your sharks. I think people responded really positively to the splash pack, so I would expect more of that in the future, for sure. It's a little bit of a special case since we had just created water and had all those visuals and could kind of convert those over. But yeah, we want to do cool base packs like that in the future for sure. There is rain coming to your base as a base item in Riddle with Crime, which is kind of water related. Nasal says, hey Maps, is it possible to add body type or personality tokens to the test server? Most people would really like that instead of making a new character for each time for different style. Huh, are those not in the test vendors? I will I'll make that note. That seems totally reasonable, especially if we're asking you to test a bunch of different styles and whatnot. N7 Austin says, Maps, will styles like Shroud of Anubis be put into a vendor? Styles that are only able to be collected by PvP marks. Interesting question, interesting suggestion. If you mean currently obtainable styles that are currently available for PvP marks, probably not. They're on a vendor. They're there for PvP marks. If you mean old ones, anything's possible. So let's get a list together. If there's one or two in particular you are wishing you could get. Michael Grid says, will we see weapon styles in the marketplace based on the newer powers? Suggestion noted. Especially with water coming out, people really requested some water weapons. So we've taken that into account. We'll see. Can't promise anything, but we'll see. The Ancient says, why has dialogue between devs and players on changes to powers ceased since the revamp? Oh, it hasn't. It hasn't at all. In fact, we've had 2 threads open in the last, with both recent PC test publishes, so let's jump into those. Also, feel free to start your own threads. You don't have to wait for us. Yeah. Tree Puncher 2014. By the way, do you hate trees, or is it just good exercise? Just curious. Will you redo character creation in terms of efficiency options? No, probably not. No changes planned there. Let us know what you would like to see, but no, definitely no plans there. Jareth says, since we do have 2 more episodes in 2017, will we see Star return in sometime 2018? That sounds likely, but we don't have it slotted into the schedule yet, so I can't say one way or the other. Darky says, do you plan on bringing back RPS system back to balance out support role? I think you mean in PvP. We don't have any PvP plans that are specific enough to comment on right now. So we've definitely heard that suggestion that people would like roll gear and the rock, paper, scissors counter system to return, but we are not there yet. Failstar says, when you guys update the loot system across all tiers, will all drops be made attunable to your role, including low-level drops in quest missions? That's a good question. It's probably going to roll out in phases regardless of what we do. The initial thing we were talking about doing is everything is for currency on a vendor, and when you pick those up, it will probably be attunable to a certain point, although it's still up for debate. We also want to go back and make drops, maybe especially in instances, attune like they do in the modern episodes. But I don't know if that will go all the way back to include like leveling mission and mission rewards. But that's all something we've got to kind of dig in and figure out. I'm guessing you would like them to all be attunable. Oh, to your role, I think I misread the question. Basically same answer applies as far as you'll be able to purchase or change your drop into, pick your role and attune to your level once that part rolls out into those tiers. But we're probably going to start with just the vendors. Big Buddha 180 said, did the adjustment to shields in PvP affect on PvE shields? It should not have. Let us know if you're seeing something else. Xander says, should we expect a time capsule on the 20th with the new episode? This isn't the place to announce things. But no, you should not. We'll announce the next time capsule when it's time to announce the next time capsule. Prodigy Gaming has a few questions. It's better to do one at a time, folks. It's just more polite because there's a lot of people asking questions. But when is the next survival mode? We got that earlier. We don't have a date set for it. Is the style vendor getting updated? It will. We don't have a date set for when. Can OP gear go back to drop rather than collections that never drop or overpriced on the marketplace? Probably not. It's OP. It's supposed to be super rare. It's not more rare than it used to be. It's actually much less rare than it used to be. So there isn't really a good reason to do that that we see. But if you have more info or reasoning, let us know. The only bad man would like to see Static Shock or Icon storylines in the game. Okay, let me write that down. We have a lot of content plans and a lot of things people want to hit here, but we're always looking for, what the players are wanting. Okay. Yes, says, will there be any tuning of loadouts for each power because the game feels slower since we weren't nerfed? Yes, we're constantly tuning loadouts. That's what the Ancient was kind of upset about up above. We are carefully reviewing feedback and making measured changes to move us closer and closer to everybody being balanced. Shade is requesting a different way to switch armories, a different effect. I think you mean more magical like. Sure, that would be a cool thing. Right now it's just the puff of smoke or whatever. Other cosmetics there is a really cool idea. I'm not sure if you've asked the question before, but we've definitely gotten that suggestion and question before, so we've got it noted. The LQ DCO is asking for a falling snow base item similar to the rain. That is a great suggestion. I'll note it. Corey with the inappropriate name says, will the Batman and Superman emblems ever come back? The specific Batman versus Superman movie emblems will never return. If you missed getting those, you missed getting those, and you are out of luck. However, we expect to have Batman and Superman emblems in the game at some point. Wolfie has a suggestion. Auras from the past in the marketplace for real cash. Please make them account bound. Make them account bound. I think you mean maybe apply to all of your characters. Like you can claim it on all of your characters. Auras that are directly from the marketplace should be claimable on all of your characters. If you mean booster bundle auras, those are tradable and not even bound at all. So I'm a little confused by the question, but go ahead and ask it again if I'm messing it up. Tree Puncher 2014 says, Maps, how long have you been working for DC? I started working for Daybreak exactly 1 week before DC launched. So it's been about almost 7 years. Jacob Revamped is requesting a PvP revamp. Lots of PvP love out there. We totally hear you. We totally know that lots of people like PvP and want it to be adjusted and changed and redone. It's just a big task, and we don't have it slotted in quite yet. Xander says, League halls and bases need wallpaper. Talk to whoever you need to get this done. Like swap out the texture on the wall? Or do you mean like actual wallpaper, like flowers and stuff? I'm going to assume you mean you want lots of flowers on your base walls and go from there, noting it down, make it happen. N7 Austin says, any chance of some more Black Adam or Shazam content? Definitely a chance. Definitely not something we have immediately planned that we could share about. I'm going to note that as a suggestion. Empress says, will previous test tunes and league halls be restored? Not a big deal, just curious. Yes, we intend to actually swap back out of the stats revamp test characters just as soon as we get some database time to do so. Although I really couldn't say when that's going to be. The only Batman meant earlier when asking about sizes, bigger character sizes, like workers walking on the base and in league halls. Gotcha, like the different body types. That is unlikely. all of our styles and whatnot have to be made for every body type, and it's unlikely we'd have time or resources to go back and add a new one and redo all the styles to make it work on that body type. Zori says we need crop tops in the game. Well, that's definitely true. I'll note that. Sometimes these suggestions are just easy. All right. Daposhan says, is it possible to bring some elemental auras, water, fire, air, and earth, and more base items based on the elements? Cool suggestion. Totally possible. Yeah, I'll note that down. Half Troll All Amazing says, Catwoman Cheetah weapon combos do 3.5 to 4 times the damage of all other legends. Cool. I will note that and see what is going on there. Big Buddha 180 says, will rage health stacking be tweaked? Because I feel like the counter capping at 50 is not enough for how the mechanic used to work. We're pretty happy with where it's at, actually. It was really good before, and now it is just really good. So, probably not, but obviously we're still listening. If you have reasons and you know, want to make an argument, please head to the forums and detail it out for us. Darky says, when is Sidekick customization coming out? Not something we have planned right now. Jacob says, may I ask why rollless buffs are being buffed instead of support rolls and not the other way around? That's something that threw me off. I thought the stance rep was done to encourage more users to run and play support roles. No, it wasn't. That's actually not really a goal at all of the stats revamp, so I think that's something maybe assumed, or maybe we misstated something at some point. Rollless buffs are specifically only in one type of content. They are only in alerts, the 4-player content, and they exist literally so that any collection of players of 4 players can compete and complete that content. So the idea of making rolls more good in alerts versus making rollless buffs more good in alerts are kind of contradictory. The whole point of having the rollless buff is so that everybody can play, regardless of what your role is. Now, you still need rolls for raids, and you don't have rollless buffs in either solos or duos, so you can choose whichever role you want. But the point of rollless buffs is to make people be able to play without a role being there. That is why they exist. And we do not plan to make them not exist. Corey says, whatever happened to serum powers? Serum was canceled. We swapped it out for water because serum was not getting much positive feedback and everyone was asking for water, as well as some other logistical issues with what could be done with the powers. So no plans for serums. Time Tracker 2643 says, was wondering what was going on with weapon style since the last time that I had asked about it, separate from getting the weapon in order to get the style for said weapon. Oh, I really don't know what that means. Could you ask it again? I'm sorry. Trax wants a Red Lantern themed base pack. I mean, that seems fair. Everybody's angry. Everybody's ragey. Sure. Xander says, I love the auras and materials that, whoa, it scrolled, that time capsules give us, but let's make them non-feat styles. It's causing all my friends to burn out trying to get all those feats. Well, I mean, everybody wants feats. That is kind of the point. We want you to feel like when you open your time capsule, you get a ton of value from it. And that's one way where we can give you really relevant in-game value. That said, it really shouldn't be something that you need to get every single feat accomplished. It's cool that you want to do that, but it's not something that happens immediately. Those things are there for the long haul. Starlord X23 says, shouldn't water be a main power like fire or earth? A main power. I don't know what you mean Fire is an original power set, so it's free. Earth is a premium power set like water. Fire and Earth are tanks. Water is a healer, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Jareth says, can we all have Lantern League Hall base items with the marketplace? Lantern League Hall base items. I guess more specific details, like actual physical lanterns, or inspired by Lantern Core, or what are you thinking? Disguised One says, Chomper's dazed power interaction for Hardlight doesn't do additional damage as described. It does decrease damage for all powers used afterwards during the main power swing. Yes, in fact, that is a bug. And I believe Spored has already fixed that. The problem is it's reversed. You apply the PI and then do less damage, where you should apply the PI and do more. So, yep, that'll get fixed pretty soon. Carlin Carnage wants a villain base item pack. Pretty please. There has already been a couple hero ones. Villain inspired, or like just with villainous instruments, or just like dirty crap all over the place? What do you mean? What do you envision being in a villain base item pack? Let me know. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, but is there a chance for abilities like stretchy limbs to be put in the game? That sounds like a huge technical hurdle, so probably not likely, but that's pretty cool. Is there a specific character or characters that you are envisioning or wanting to kind of live out? Lightning Zeus says, when will you improve the consumption of power on electricity? I mean, that's one of the many things we're monitoring feedback on and monitoring data on. There are no plans to make any changes there right now. Power consumption changed pretty substantially with the revamp. Power is more important. People consume more of it. It plays a little bit different now. Dalgar says, could we get some indicator or messaging that tells people what vendors are relevant to them CR-wise? Like your CR84, you seek out whoever for upgrades and where it is. That is a great suggestion. That's actually one we've talked about recently, as far as just making the whole find your vendor for gear system much more intuitive and easy, so people aren't running all over the place trying to find vendors that are just essentially randomly dropped across the world. So great suggestion. I will note it, but yeah, that's already on our minds for sure. Daposhan says, will there be updates to character customization, more skins, hair, etc.? I would expect so. Yes. Let us know your suggestions if you have specific ones. Let me check here on questions. I am about 15 minutes behind on questions, so I'm going to make the slow mode a little bit slower so that I can maybe catch up. What is that? 180? There we go. Oh, now I gotta scroll back up though. Here we go. Tree Puncher says, would a possible companion app or simple newsletter app be created for this game? Maybe even a giant DC app in general, but I doubt you know anything about the latter. Totally possible. We actually kind of went down that path pretty far in the past and ended up basically abandoning it. So, cool idea, but probably not. If you have specific examples or suggestions of how you would want to use an app like that, let us know. The LQ DCUO says, will elite content before episode 27 be looked at? For example, there's a lot of one-shots in the Demon's Plan elite, even for high CRs. Yeah, report actual one-shots, like no-tell one-shots, as a bug report, really. In the whole stats revamp process, we got very little player testing from elite content, and we could definitely use help and feedback in spotting those spots where it's pretty rough. Vocal Range says, when is the next free CR100 skip? There is no planned free CR100 skip. It's available in the marketplace. That's kind of the point. Starlord23 says, make another CR skip. Do you mean another level to land at, like skip to CR 200, that kind of thing? If so, noted. If not, ask again. Isif says, please can we have more dive base styles? I think you mean themes, but for your dive base instead of for your lair. That's a cool suggestion. A lot of people don't use the dive because it has limited size, limited placement options, but a lot of people do use it because it is small and it's one room and it's a cool different layout. So I'm going to note that and just reaffirm we want to continue expanding the base system in whatever ways. N7 Austin says, are there any more major events coming? I came back during Starro, enjoyed it a lot, but missed the anniversary event, which is something I would like to play. So the anniversary event will definitely return in January for our anniversary. Definitely new rewards, maybe other things. So you'll definitely get to play that if you stick around for January. Starro also will come back. We had actually planned to do more major events, and the general response from players was that they wanted more episodes over events. So, for example, Riddled with Crime, episode 29, used to be an event, and we converted it to an episode at all y'all's requests. But that said, we still would like to do major events at least a bit in the future. And you'll notice that each episode launches with kind of a mini event, an open portion for everybody that actually works a lot like Starro. You saw that in Age of Justice, and you'll see more of that in Riddled with Crime and in other things going forward. So we're trying to kind of get the best of both worlds, still the progression and the rewards and the storytelling and the permanence of an episode, but then also still have completely open, accessible to everybody, maybe primarily open world type events for everybody with that launch for a limited time. Looks like I got scrolled. Oh, did I scroll further? Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, lost my spot. Silex says, has there been any date on putting in more iconic powers like Parasite's Drain move or Catwoman's or Cheetah's Claw attack move and getting new abilities for existing power sets? No dates. That is one thing the stats revamp allows us to do, but no dates yet. Nightwing says, any plans for a Justice League movie event as awesome as the BVS event? Definitely not in the same way with like the direct tie-in. That's not something we're going to be doing. But we're definitely making plans around the Justice League movie launch in November and our Earth 3 episode 30 episode is very much keeping that in mind and employing the Justice League in cool ways. Dapashan says, will the Teen Titans, Wonder Twins, or more Heroes and Villains be added to Legends or future episodes? Yes, for sure. We're going to keep adding characters to the game, and we are going to note your suggestions. Rakshas says, have you guys ever considered a trading map that can be accessed by both Heroes and Villains as a unique restricted trade chat exclusive to the map? Oh, so you have to go somewhere to trade as opposed to trade chat. I think you'd see plenty of off-topic spam in there anyway, but that's kind of a cool idea. I can say we definitely have not considered that, but I'm going to note it here. All right, moving right along. Lightning Zeus says, will there be an improvement in electricity considering its consumption of power and its PI? We're looking for your feedback. Definitely keep hitting up the forums, but no plans right now. Will DCUO ever allow us to change certain costume pieces to two different colors, like one glove being yellow and the other being red? Cool suggestion. Not planned. Probably unlikely, but still, cool suggestion. I'm going to note it. Shifty says, will you guys be continuing with the booster bundles, or do time capsules kind of replace them? I wouldn't say time capsules replace booster bundles, although maybe would impact frequency. We've done a booster bundle during time capsules, and we may do more. We don't announce promotions ahead of time, so keep an eye out, but they're still possible. Focal Range says, when will there be a free CR skip? There will not be a free CR skip. Dawn Flare says, with the recent release of Water, has there been any thoughts on a water or Atlantean lair theme for the future? Yes, there have been lots of thoughts. In fact, I harass Oceans all the time about a water base and stuff. But nothing concrete, nothing specifically planned. It's a cool idea. I think there are lots of cool base themes we could do that everybody kind of wants to do. We just got to find out when. And yeah, Atlantis and Aquaman and all that stuff is at the top of everyone's mind. Spamming questions have been answered is not cool. It'll get you removed pretty quick. Just a heads up. Myra Nightfire says, Meeps, when will the next episode come out? I mean, Riddled with Crime. It comes out September 20th. It's a Wednesday. It's a couple weeks from now. Ingo Dur says, in response to the changing armories question by Shade, it would also be cool if one option for a different armory effect will be walking to a phone booth, spinning around, and coming out. Yeah, that would be cool. I think there's a lot of opportunity there from a lot of different characters. A lot of different eras, because people change clothes differently over time in the comics. Cool stuff to do. Lightning Zeus says, please make it possible for players to pay to earn feats. I'm going to go ahead and say by the emoticons, your request garnered that is not super popular with many people. I'm going to go ahead and turn off message sending for a moment so I can catch up, because we're going to start to run out of time here. I will re-enable that if I get to the end of these questions. And I'm going to start skipping questions that have already been answered. If you missed the answer, ask each other or check out the Twitch replay after the stream. Corey says, are you familiar with the Legion of Superheroes? Of course. If so, can we get a DLC inspired by them? Definitely a cool suggestion. Definitely what's been suggested before, so we're good there. Disguised One says, building on Shade's armor question, is it possible to have the aura animations related to the power one has? So basically have an aura that matches your power? That's a cool suggestion. That has been suggested before. We've got it. Xander says, warping to a friend's base is a nightmare. Can we get our list in alphabetical order or something? Gosh, yes. It's time for my bi-monthly harassment of people to make lists sort alphabetically. Let me note that down, and then I'll go do that immediately after this office hours, because that is perhaps my greatest pet peeve of all time. I'll happily push on that again. Shade says, are there new weapons coming? I would love fans. We don't have plans for new weapon types, but definitely hear suggestions for those. Although I don't think I've heard fans before. That'd be different. LQ says, will we see Omega Man in DCUO soon, as in the alternate reality villain of the crime syndicate? That's a good question. Play and find out. Michael Grid would like football or sports styles, please. Casual day off styles, not always saving the world, Michael Grid. I'll write it down. Jacob Revamped says, plenty of players have been asking for the option to skip in-game cutscenes. Any chance of that being implemented? The cutscenes that can be skipped are skippable in the game. The cutscenes that cannot be skipped right now, we actually use that time while the cutscene's running to move NPCs around instead of the content. That's why they have to be in there. So those are not skippable without completely redoing how content works, so unlikely. Wolfie is clarifying from earlier, make auras where you can't summon a broker and claim on every character and only cost $20. That seems unrealistic, but I will note the concept. Yes says, will the style feats be removed from time capsules? No, we do not plan to do that. Prodigy Gaming says what Wolfie meant above is that can we get past auras in the marketplace like OG Nimbus, OG Smoke, etc., but make them untradeable? No, especially the OG auras were exclusive to that time period, so won't be making a return. The other ones, the alternates, the variants, could come back in some way, but in a booster bundle, not directly in the marketplace. Meyer Nightfire says, Maps, what is your favorite power set? Well, Celestial, but my water alt is getting a lot of time these days, so I don't know, it's creeping up. Lightning Zeus says, as a player that just recently came back to the game and have no access to the new or recently dropped auras, could you make them available in the marketplace? Probably not. Waterwoman says, Waterwoman, love it. Great job on water powers, love it. Will there be a water material? That is a cool suggestion. One that we've got before and have noted. Rakshas says, since you guys are always looking for new things to do, would you ever consider including an infinite PvE soda in the time capsules? Whew. I don't know about that. That'd be pretty OP. It would work like the PvP soda. Yep. Probably not. That would take out some things from the game. But I'll note it. Maybe I'm totally off on that. Jareth says, when do you plan on attacking the Watchtower Hall of Doom? You haven't done it since before the revamp. Want to see how it is now. I did it yesterday. Sorry you missed it. But keep your eyes out. Fatal Star says, forum related, but do devs read the guides as well? Can get a lot of power feedback from those. I skim the guides, but honestly I probably don't pay enough attention to what's going on there. That's a good suggestion. Xander says, faction change tokens, will this never happen? I know it's a big ask, but I'm asking. Generally, love the idea. A little bit cautious of it because we don't want all of the villains to leave or all of the heroes to go villain or create even more population imbalance. But the real problem is the amount of work involved and basically all your missions, all your feats, everything about your character would have to translate over from one faction to the other. And unfortunately, that is not a simple thing to do. So it's something you guys ask about a lot and totally get it. It's totally cool. It's just, it is a big ask. After All Amazing suggests they would like Starfire's hair or Bombshell Supergirl's boots. Noted. Let me write that down. Alright. The Grizzly says, in the future, can we have more things in the League Hall for using Prestige Unlock Seller HV? You want to be able to do more with Prestige. Noted. Let me write it down. Empress says, LPVE general feats, still making me cringe. I know many improvement suggestions have been made, so still hope for something being done. I think the general suggestion is make the count lower, and that's definitely something we've noted. Can't promise anything right now. Can you fix the placement of where the audio plays for missions? I can hear enemies' voice lines, but whenever the mission audio plays, it seems far away. Not talking about missions you get from people in the world, but through the menu in the main quest line. I'd like to hear more about that, so I will send you a message later. It sounds like a specific bug that maybe we need to look into. LQ would like to see weapon styles in the marketplace for munitions, atomic, and water. And because they're powers or weapon styles for all the other powers. It's a good request. I've heard it before. Definitely going to note it. We would like to sell you those for sure. The Only Badman says, can we get a whip weapon and enable throwing the one-handed weapon instead of a ball of energy? Second part is cool, probably not possible. First part is also cool and also probably not possible. The whips we have in the game, because of how whips work, are effects. They essentially things that are animated. They're not like something you hold in your hand, like a staff or like a sword or whatever. And it would basically not be possible for us to do that. Like to have lots and lots of whip styles. There'd only be a couple, so that probably prevents us from making whips as a weapon. Daposhan says, can we get a teleporter for old content for people to go into and get feats? Yeah, we definitely want to improve the queuing system, the on-duty system, and how accessible it is to get back and play old content. But we are still looking at a couple different things there, and I don't have any information to share. It's definitely something we know is a touch point for a lot of players. Jacob would like a cross-faction style vendor while implementing a new currency system. It's definitely not part of what we're doing there, but it's a great idea. It's something we've had on our list. Blazing Bacon says, I'd love to have a hard light league hall. The hard light should be tintable, so it would be any lantern core. That would be amazing. That's a great suggestion. Roble says, is there any way I can get a DCUO account from my banned PSN account? Oh man, what do you do? Would love to transfer to PC. Can support help me with this? Nope. Unfortunately, no server or account transfers of any kind are possible for DCUO. All right, we are running short on time. We have 7 minutes and quite a few questions left. So I'm gonna try to scroll through and get the good ones. I apologize for those of you who might get skipped here, but come back next week. We had a lot of interest today, a lot of questions today. But let me see if there's anything new or kind of different I should answer. Ben Brada says, any thought to having console and PC under one subscription? We can't. It's literally different companies getting your money, so just doesn't work. That is also why there's no account transfers, essentially. Sideshow Nin was thinking of Plastic Man or Elongated Man, so they both can stretch their limbs. Cool, okay. That helps with context. Carlin Carnage says, villain-inspired, what are you talking about? Is this tank or base items? Like the Penguin Umbrella, Harley Mallet. There's like they do villain hideout items too, like villainous traps, like a Piranha tank. Ah, that's cool. Okay, you got me. You sold me. Noting it down. LQD says, will episode 30 be a large episode? Yeah, episode 30 should be similar to Age of Justice and similar to Amazon Fury. For the feats that have no value, like the title feats, can we have a point value feat that stacks, i.e. 10 points for 5 title feats, 25 for 10 title feats? As it is now, there's no motivation to obtain title feats. So you're proving everybody's point for them. You don't care about that specific title, so you don't care about getting the title feat because it doesn't have feat points on it, which is, in a nutshell, why everything should have a feat point on it, because otherwise you don't care. But, so, I mean, 0-point feats are not compelling because they don't have actual feat points on them. Noted. Protectimo says, when will the test server access the test vendor gear for Riddle with Crime? As of right now. The latest published put the vendor on there and put currency on there, so you can jump in. We have no plans for Mac, Starlord. Sorry. Robin / Damian Wayne. You're giving it away, buddy. You want to keep those two names secret. Will movement powers such as skimming ever be faster than flight, and will super speed be the fastest, or will they all stay the same speed? They will all stay the same speed. Totally makes sense for, you know, story and comic book feel reasons that they would be different speeds, or they would be vastly different speeds. But for purposes of balance and having fun and having a game here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to let one person go a lot faster than anybody else. And it's also possible if you go much faster than you're going right now that you outrun how fast the game can load the world around you and you can fall out of it. So we're kind of limited on a couple different ways there. Daposhan would like character customization in the realm of more animal skins, more female hairstyles, and more color options on armor. Got it. Let me get that noted. If you guys have specific pieces of content that are too hard, you feel are too hard after the stats event, please post it on the forums so that we can take a look. Just as an overall thought, like as that comes up, like just keep the list going. You know, we read those and we take a look when we see them. I'm noting this one down, but just for everyone. Devilman78 says, are you planning to make Soder stack more than 12? That's a cool idea. Let me note that. We've gotten that before, but let me note it. Got 3 minutes left here. Trying to get the good ones. Yes, we want to do more base and league hall layouts. That would be awesome. But I don't have details on when. It's not something we've immediately planned. Magician, no update on different character names with the @ system. It's a pretty big change, and there are still names available. You can find stuff, so it's not really high on our priority list, but we've definitely heard the feedback there. Mob says, will you guys release new move mode variants like you mentioned with skimming? Not planning to. Skimming, frankly, took a lot of work and time and wasn't very successful. Not that many people used it, so we're kind of looking to do something different if we return to kind of like the movement mode arena of customization. And someone else says, why are there still no add-ons for PC? They make life much easier. You mean like mods? It's tough, especially being console. But if I misunderstood your question, hit me up again. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Yes. 1 minute to go. All right. Might get to the end of these questions anyway. LQDCO says, would it be possible to stay in episode 28, form groups with nearby opposite factions? Ah, betray your friends. Or help out the enemy. It's a cool idea. Yeah, let me note that. Can there be a way to get increased RNG through uncommon items in the time capsule? You've gotten plenty of Green Knight gauntlets, but you're trying to get the chest style and you haven't gotten it. I mean, they're random. That's kind of how it works. Open to suggestions if you have any cool ones. The Grizzly says, will we have a pet who can stay with us always, like a penguin or bats? Like a permanent pet? It's a good question. Most of our pets are limited time, so they go away, so there aren't too many pets around, and doesn't really have a huge impact on server performance. A lot of them are not available in combat because things get crazy in combat, performance-wise. So, unlikely, but you're right, it does kind of make it way more cool if you just always have this little dude with you. So I will note it down. And with that, it is 4 o'clock Pacific. Time's up. Office hours is over for this week. We do this most Fridays, at least when we're not launching something big or doing a different sort of live stream. So please stop in next week or next time, either here on Discord in the Ask DCUO voice channel and text chat channel, ask questions, or if you just want to listen over on Twitch, we'll try to stream these from now on so that it's easier for people to just set it and forget it and just listen, as well as the video will stay up on Twitch for a while if you missed it entirely. If you have a burning question that can't wait for next week, you can always find me on Twitter at DCO. You can always find me on the forums, and you can just send me a message here on Discord as well, although I am really bad at responding to the millions of messages I get here. You're better off hit me up on the forums or Twitter. Or really, you're better off jumping in next week and getting your question answered live for everybody. With that said, as you should know, test server is up again. It had Riddle with Crime last week. It has more Riddle with Crime this week as far as rewards, though not all of them. And it has the fall seasonal event, the Witching Hour, up for testing with those rewards as well. Check it out. And don't forget to buy some Respect tokens this weekend on sale, 4% off. Shameless plug. And we'll see you next week. Okay, bye folks.